Welcome back to 55 Degrees North, your go-to channel for fortnightly construction and restoration updates from across Newcastle upon Tyne. This is episode 31, and as always, we're checking in on all your favourites from Pottery Lane to Pilgrim Place, plus a few extra surprises along the way. But that's not all. I've got a major update on the new arena development at Gateshead Quays, so make sure you stay tuned right to the end. Starting with a fresh update from the site of the former General Hospital, where the new Health and Innovation neighbourhood is going to be built. Over towards the back, the sorting of materials continues on site. Brick and concrete are being carefully separated, awaiting processing, while hybrid machinery, including a dumper truck, can be seen moving the crushed materials into organised piles. Over at the front of the site, it's a different story. There's been no noticeable progress since our last update 2 weeks ago. Everything here remains unchanged for now. Inside the old hospital block, stripping of internal fixtures and fittings is still underway. This is all in preparation for the full demolition, which will follow once the interior has been cleared. At the back of the same block, scaffolding has now been installed to give the workers safer and easier access to the upper floors, a necessary step as the team continues to push forward with the teardown. Elsewhere on site, demolition has now started on another block. Looking down from above, you can see an excavator at work, carefully sorting roof materials into neat piles, ready to be taken away for recycling. This high-angle view really gives you a great perspective of how far the demolition has progressed on this building so far. And now moving down to Kaiserina, where they are building the new Students' Village. As you can see, the transformation is well underway. The site is now almost completely cleared of crushed material, and with that, the crusher has officially left the site. We're now in the final stages of storing up across the site. Each area is being carefully checked to ensure it meets the correct levels for the piling platform. Any surplus crushed material is being redistributed to where it's still needed, and what's left over will be soon removed from the site entirely. Grouting across the site is now complete, and the grout rigs have also been packed up and left. You'll also notice the number of workers on site has been significantly reduced, a clear sign we're approaching the final stages of this phase of the construction. And now for the update on the Vita Students accommodation coming to life between Leazes Park and St James's Park. The project is being developed by Vita Students, a name already well known in Newcastle thanks to their popular Strawberry Place and Westgate Road accommodations, and now they're back with another high-spec student living space. Set to open in September 2026, the new site will feature modern, fully kitted out rooms with floor-to-ceiling windows, flooding the space with natural light. On-site amenities, they've gone all in. Expect a state-of-the-art gym, private dining and study rooms, and a beautifully landscaped courtyard, and even a basketball court. Not bad for student digs. Moving on with the building progress, you can see the floors between the two main core lift shafts are rising quite rapidly. It's great to see momentum picking up. At the bottom end of the site, the breeze block wall on the old building is now complete, giving us a clearer view of the building's final footprint. Since our last video, the trench has been totally filled in and scaffolding has gone up along the side of the building, showing real structural progress. Meanwhile, the brickwork on the concrete retaining wall is still waiting to be finished, but we'll keep an eye on that one for future updates. Around at Strawberry Place above the metro station, where they're going to be fitting the new advertisement boards. Since our last visit 2 weeks ago, the major development here has been the completion of the tarmac. The entire area has now been resurfaced, clean, level and ready for the next phase. However, since the initial push to get the tarmac down, there hasn't been much movement on site. No visible work has taken place since our last check-in. So I'll be keeping a close eye on this location for any signs of progress in the near future. Moving across the road to St James's Boulevard, where they're building the new students' accommodation. Today marks a bit of a milestone. This is my final visit to this site. It's been over a year watching the building come to life, and I think we can all agree the transformation has been incredible. As you can see in the video, all the external work is now complete. The pavement out front has been fully laid and really finishes off the space nicely. Just a few last minute touches to the outside of the building have also been wrapped up. There are still a few leftover materials waiting to be taken away, but otherwise that's it. The site is looking clean, polished and ready for its new residents starting in September this year. It's been great watching the progress of this site every couple of weeks as part of these fortnightly updates. When I first started covering Newcastle's construction and restoration projects, I never imagined how many people would come along for the journey. Even though this project is now complete, there are still plenty of exciting developments happening around the city, so there'll be no shortage of projects to cover in future videos. Now taking another look at the development along Pottery Lane, right where the new apartment blocks are rising fast. From up here on the Redger Bridge, you can really see how far things have come. Windows are now near on the top of the floors, a milestone in the build. Panning around the site, you'll notice windows being installed along all sides of both buildings. This is definite momentum here. It's starting to take shape. Down the side closest to the bridge, there's been more visible progress on the brickwork. They're almost at the top floors, especially towards the back of the building, something that wasn't there in the last update. Heading down onto Pottery Lane itself, there's actually a great viewpoint where a gap in the scaffolding gives you a clearer look at what has been done. There's a lot more construction material lying along the front. The concrete base we saw in the last video, it now looks like a mix has been placed right on the top, possibly for on-site concrete work. Over at Building 2, we can already see a good amount of building materials staged and ready for the next phase. And interestingly, there's still no sign of scaffolding along this side yet, so that might be where fins are headed next. Finally, take a look at those panes of glass waiting to be installed. It won't be long before this building gets fully sealed in. We're now up at Carlisle Square, where progress on the Pilgrim Place development is really picking up pace. Looking across the entire area, you can clearly see how much headway the construction team has made. One of the most notable changes is the steelwork continuing to rise around the first core lift shaft. It's going up fast and the framework is starting to really take shape. You can already spot the steel sheeting in place, outlining the different floor levels. This gives you a clearer sense of the building structure and future scale. From this side of the site, concrete pouring is actively underway. You can see the teams working methodically as the framework gets filled in. Now, if we swing round to the opposite side of the first lift shaft, there's more steelwork climbing upwards rapidly. You'll also notice the big bright orange cross beams now being installed. These are a key structural supports as the building grows. Down at the bottom end of the site, progress is also visible on the third core lift shaft, where the concrete floors are beginning to rise. Right next to that, the steel reinforcements are ready in place, just waiting for the next round of concrete to be poured. And finally, over at the second core lift shaft, you'll notice even more steel brackets have been installed, this time on the opposite side from before in the previous video. We're now taking a look at the progress on His Majesty's Revenue and Customs building. Up on the John Dobson Street side, external works are moving along nicely. A lot of the white temporary fencing has now been removed, giving us a much clearer view of the site. You can see that work has started to reinstall the pavement and curbstones, bringing the area one step closer to completion. A little further up the street, more concrete work is underway, where crews are busy pouring and smoothing out the remaining sections. And right at the top, you can clearly see the curbs and pavement stones already in place, a sign that this side of the project is nearing its final form. Now swinging around to the Pilgrim Street side, Some great progress here too. All the pavement has now been reinstalled, stretching right across the front of the development. And that's just a quick update from the site of the HMRC, as it's mostly external works now taking place. Moving up to Ellison Place, checking in on the progress of the new Northeast Space Skills and Technology Centre. From a distance, it might not look like much has changed since our last visit 2 weeks ago, but as always with construction, it's the details that count. If you look closely at the top section of the structure, you'll notice some fresh grey steelwork has been added since the last video. That's brand new and definitely a sign of progress. Down at the side of the site, you can also see more steelwork sitting ready to be lifted and fitted into place. Looks like they're getting set for another big phase of the installation. And down at the base of the construction, the concrete wall along the bottom edge is now fully complete. Another box ticked for the build. Around the other side of the site, things are pretty much the same as they were 2 weeks ago. No major changes visible just yet. So slow, steady progress here at Ellison Place. Now, onto the news I mentioned at the start of the video. The long-running saga of the proposed new arena and conference centre at Gateshead Quays. Plans for the 12,500-seat arena and international grade convention centre on the quayside have hit yet another roadblock, and it all comes down to, yep, you guessed it, money. Since the ambitious world-class project was first unveiled, costs have been rising year after year, and now councillors have revealed that the future of the entire development is uncertain. North East leaders are reportedly trying to figure out whether this regeneration project can be made feasible at all. One of the options being discussed, downsizing, yep, potentially scaling back the whole thing into a smaller development that wouldn't need as much public funding. But now the project is stalling and no clear way forward. The big question is, will it ever eventually get built, or is it just another ambitious plan that ends up gathering dust? So what do you think? Will the gates at Kaiserina ever become a reality, or is it just a big dream on today's economy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what the local community thinks. Just when you thought traffic in Newcastle couldn't get any worse, well, buckle up, because it's about to. Newcastle drivers, prepare yourselves. Starting this August, a massive £9 million upgrade to the A167M Central Motorway is kicking off, and it's set to cause major disruption for the next 18 months. The project focuses on repairing decayed concrete on the elevated viaduct, a structure that's been carrying traffic since the 1970s. Safety checks earlier this year revealed serious deterioration, so action had to be taken. And here's the kicker, this isn't happening in isolation. The Tyne Bridge restoration is already causing gridlock, and let's not forget ongoing delays at the Tyne Tunnel. Now throw this A167M project into the mix and you've got a recipe for traffic chaos. Now for a quick roundup of other projects happening around the city. Let's start at Northumberland Street, where pavement improvement works are still underway. To be honest, the whole street looks a right mess at the moment, but hey, progress isn't always pretty. Next, the scaffolding has finally come down at the Northern Goldsmiths building. The shop will reopen next week after a 6-month refit and restoration, and it's looking great. And finally, over at the Granger Market, a new cultural space has taken shape as part of a broader refresh of the whole market. One of the doorways has already had its new floor tiles laid, complete with the street name where the exit leads. And they're installing sleek electronic sliding doors soon too. So just before I wrap up this week's video, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about all the construction and restoration projects happening around the city right now. Are they improving things or just causing chaos? If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a massive thumbs up, it really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time on 55 Degrees North.